Mark Benioff goes fishing. There's no place you can hide. The rhythm is going to get you. And Firefox goes off the rails. These stories and much more on today's episode of MSP Dispatch.
This episode is presented by OIT VoIP. Enhance your client's communication abilities with our VoIP solution, featuring integrated billing, on-demand training, and live US support. Collaborate seamlessly with Microsoft Teams integration and put your entire phone system in your pocket with Mobile X. Improve your offerings and increase profitability with reliable service for 1/10 of the average MSP acquisition cost. To learn more, visit oit.co or dial 844-CALL-OIT.
Good morning and welcome to the August 8th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Ray Orsini, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Tony Fantastico Francisco. How you doing, Tony?
Good, brother. How are you doing? What an amazing... So I personally had 10 days of travel, but in that nice chunk in the middle, I got to see you. We did tequila shots. I hate you. It was awesome, and it was great seeing my people, my tribe, my family that I haven't seen for so long at the CompTIA ChannelCon. How are you doing?
It was beautiful. I like that you made it easy for me to see you with those brilliant shirts you were wearing. I'll let people look at it, find us on LinkedIn to go see those shirts, but absolutely amazing. I can't complain. I was dreading Vegas because it's Vegas and I'm old, and I actually had the best time. It was ChannelCon was phenomenal. I met amazing people. There was tons to do. Even the heat wasn't horrible. I didn't melt too much. So
we didn't. I mean, did you actually go outside though?
I had windows.
I looked outside and I'm like, listen, I'm from Florida. I'm looking. Nope.
Yep. Yeah, I know how this goes. And speaking of stuff that we know what to expect, this will come as no surprise. Mark Zuckerberg is not holding his breath for the August 26th fight with Elon Musk. Apparently he gave an interview to The Verge, to Wes Davis and Alex Heath. Apparently he's ready. Mark Zuckerberg is ready to go. He's ready to fight Elon Musk. And we reported on it, one of the banters previously. Phil will find that. But apparently the fight that was supposed to be August 26th hasn't had any real confirmation. Musk mentioned he might need surgery and will have an MRI before confirming the fight date. And Zuck even criticized the idea of live streaming the fight on X/Twitter, suggesting a more reliable platform to raise money for charity. I wonder which one he could be talking. I mean, Tony, you're a fight lover. One of my favorite things is the showdown, the smack talking when they're doing the weigh-ins. I mean, saying that he needs to stream on a more reliable platform, that's the most tech smack talk you could possibly do, right?
That is a slap in the face, staring him in the eyes, no flinching. For everyone in the audience, this last weekend I literally went to see my boy Billy Quarantillo, Billy Q, fight in the UFC in Nashville, Tennessee, and he won. I've been training with Billy for over 10 years, and there may or may not have been a time when I could beat him up with no problem, and I don't want to roll with him at all anymore. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is my sport. I love it because I don't want my face getting punched in anymore. I'm old, but the Zuck is doing...
Wait, are you saying when you were younger you liked getting punched in the face?
Sometimes you just got to get punched to recognize, like, hey, it's time to wake up. It's time. Hit me again. Mark Zuckerberg has been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's been doing it religiously. And I'm not saying that he's good, but he's not bad. Now, it's going to take him another 5 to 6 years to become like a main player, for lack of a better term. But if he's got a year and a half, 2 years under his belt at this point, going against Elon Musk, I'm going to give the fight to... Money. Yeah, I'm going to give the fight to Mark.
And then once Elon wins, once Zuck wins, then the winner will take on, as per the rules, will take on Tony, and the winner will get the church.
I'll choke one of them out. I will choke. Listen, about those disclosure agreements that you're not addressing, about your arbitrary rules of information funneling that you're not really talking about, that we all want to talk about. Anyway, let's get into this.
So you know what we are completely undefeated in? Well, we have 100% success TKO in the news. Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it.
In my first top security story, Salesforce zero-day exploited to phish Facebook credentials, written by Elizabeth Montalbano on Dark Reading. Cyber attackers executed a sophisticated phishing campaign leveraging a zero-day flaw in Salesforce's email and SMTP services to target Facebook users. Using misleading @salesforce.com email addresses, they sent convincing emails posing as meta platforms and including authentic Facebook links to evade detection. Recipients were directed to apps.facebook.com, where a phishing page compromised their personal information. Guardio researchers discovered the flaw, allowing attackers to insert malicious content into apps.facebook.com, stealing Facebook accounts and bypassing two-factor authentication. Fortunately, no customer data was compromised, and Salesforce promptly addressed the vulnerability to prevent further harm. Furthermore, attackers exploited apps.facebook.com on Facebook's end to create a deceptive web app game, inserting malicious content. Meta, Facebook's parent company, acted promptly to remove the malicious accounts and the game. The prevalence of phishing attacks such as these highlight the critical need for heightened security measures, especially against evolving social engineering techniques, while emphasizing the essential role of protecting legitimate services like Salesforce, marketing platforms, and cloud-based workspaces in combating digital threats. Tony, we've talked about this a little bit when it's not so much the link looks correct and you click on it thinking it's correct. You go to a URL that's also correct. That's tough. How do you train for that? How do you know what I mean? What do you say to your users? Hey, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's probably a fish. Like, how do you address that, right?
Okay. SMTP, Simple Mail Transport Protocol. I have been doing SMTP vulnerability. I won't call them exploitations. I'll call them maneuvers. Research. I have been doing SMTP research for quite a while, about 28 years now. There is so much that you can do with it. The problem is it's literally the one thing that every email server needs, and port 25, and you're sending out. When you're doing the combination of an SMTP, which is going to be related to email, exploit, and the apps.facebook.com, and something related to Salesforce, where that is your safe place, you are going to have problems. And I cannot emphasize enough to everyone here that uses, email, or the internet. You need to stay educated in some capacity. I know when fire was new to the humans, we needed to be educated on fire. Listen, don't eat this. Don't eat the fire. Don't walk on the fire. Okay? This is fire. It's as simple as something everyday common use, but it can be devastating if you're not educated. Ray, am I saying enough, or am I maneuvering a little bit too much?
So along those lines, the first instance of the word dumpster fire actually came out of a review of the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. But them's are facts, by the way. No, but so, I mean, if we haven't terrified you enough, we want to leave you with a nice little trinket of knowledge. But at the same time, so it doesn't say if the emails applied the emails passed SPF and DMARC checks or DKIM checks, because spoofing email is ridiculously easy. Spoofing email out of Salesforce They do have a proper connector for 365. We use Salesforce, and you connect via an OAuth application. That's cool, and it's user consent, not org consent. Yay! But you can also just enter your own SMTP credentials, and for that, you can enter literally anything. You can run SMTP server off your desktop. It's just for sending. It's not a big deal. So, and you can send as anything. I wonder if the emails got past, if they were proper Salesforce.com emails, not just spoofed, with somebody taking advantage of their own SMTP server, which could be done by anyone, right? That's not complicated. If they were spoofed, then any email filter should have caught it. If they weren't spoofed, and because they had access to send as legitimate Salesforce.com, that's a little more scary. And that is the fallback for Salesforce, by the way. If you don't have your own email connector, it will send emails from @salesforce.com on behalf of Tony Francisco, on behalf of Ray Orsini, which look legit, just like those DocuSign emails that happen all the time. The Facebook thing is a little more terrifying. Like, don't mess with my Farmville. I don't want to worry that, like, if I'm going to go feed my cows, okay, like I'm the only one still playing Farmville today, right? Like, if I go feed my cows, I don't want any hacking in my farm. I mean, I think that's fair, right? Most MSPs want to go to farming to get away from technology, and now you're putting malware in my farm again. I don't appreciate this. Tony, I can't see the timer, so I have no idea if we're at time yet. So what I'm going to say is this. I want to get to something nice and easy, something like good rhythm. I want to get some musical, auditory, something that'll put me in a happy place. Can you give me a song? Can you give me a story that'll put me in a happy place?
Well, I can't give you music, but I can give you acoustics. In a story from bleepingcomputer.com, a new acoustic attack steals data from keystrokes with a 95% accuracy. Some British researchers have trained a deep learning model that can steal data from keyboard strokes recorded via a microphone with a 95% accuracy. But that prediction accuracy drops to 93% when Zoom was used to train the sound classification algorithm, still presenting a considerable risk. The method threatens data security as it could potentially expose passwords and other sensitive information. The availability of microphone-bearing devices and advances in machine learning increase the feasibility of such acoustic attacks. The attack process involves recording keystrokes for training the prediction algorithm, either via a nearby microphone, an infected phone, or rogue Zoom participant, correlating typed messages with sound. The researchers suggested changing typing styles using randomized passwords, reproducing keystroke sounds using white noise, employing keystroke audio filters, and leveraging biometric authentication as possible mitigations. Ray, if I was not neurotic enough, hold on. I think Phil is still
spraying away my keyboard.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
That's even better. The back end producer laughs at my own. Okay, so
I'm
Phil,
usually muted.
Phil, you're mute. Ray, this is driving me crazy, and here's the reason why. I've talked about one of my claim to fame exploits where I could send a PDF to you or a Word document to you, just says, hey, here's my resume. If you don't even have to look at it, you don't even have to preview it. If you have the ability to have a Brother or an Epson printer on your network, I can send a command that will allow me to reverse SSH and relay a command searching for your IVR, specifically Astra devices and Polycom. This is not Poly devices, by the way, Polycom old devices, pre-Poly firmware, which are similar, by the way. But the point is, I can then map out your building physically if you had a Bluetooth phone that was authenticated with your desktop phone, and I could literally map out the authentication as you walked, or the physical layout. This is now even worse. This is, hey, listen, not only can I exploit that particular hack, but I can turn on your speakerphone and turn off the speakerphone light and dial tone and listen to, just basically record all of your passwords as you type, or record your messages without being a man in the middle, acoustically. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me, should I, because I've got my therapist on dial right now, specifically my MSP Dispatch therapist, after I post one of these really good episodes.
They don't get paid enough. That's for damn
They don't. Talk to me.
So you mess with my farm, you mess with my keyboard. Like, Tony, you're killing me here, dude. Like, it's getting to the point where I can't even write down my passwords in my LastPass notebook. Oh, wait. Anyway, so, this is cool. Okay. First of all, let's get really nerdy. It's freaking cool, right? Like, the fact that like this stuff can be done, it's no different than what was it, in the 90s? I forget who did that test that they had a wall of servers with spinning hard drives and they yelled at it and they measured performance and they actually like skipped or they slowed down when they got yelled at. It was insane. I'll put the link.
No, that's nerdy. Everything we're about to talk about is kind of, that is nerdy. Like, who does that? You've literally, I didn't know the rabbit hole went that deep. Okay, sorry.
But there's stuff like, what do they have? They had where using these speakers, because if anybody doesn't know, speakers and microphones are pretty damn near the same technology. They're almost identical. And so the difference is on a microphone you have a diaphragm, on a speaker you have the cone, which is also a diaphragm, and they both reverberate to either send out sound or receive sound. So they found out a while back, and I want to say this was early last year, or maybe the year before, where based on the movements of the cones of the speakers, how the airwaves were moving, they could extrapolate audio data. It was not a recording. They were rebuilding the audio, but based off what those minute, imperceptible little changes were. And again, cool as hell. Stay away from my keyboard. I do feel bad for Matt Fox, who's working on the new program boarding school right now. So that'll be our next release on MMN. So yeah, I mean, terrifying, yes. End of the world, no. At the end of the day, there's a million ways to get this data. They all require some level of interactivity at some point. I don't know. This doesn't rise to the my hair is on fire. It's all going to collapse yet.
Yet, that's the operative word. Yet, it's not there yet. But I am a precog of death, of just destruction. So we can not talk about it right now. But you know what we can't talk about? We can talk about the good things, because as long as no one's listening and I stay quiet and I go for a VPN or a nice secure tunnel from end to end, no one can listen. We are safe, right, Ray?
Absolutely not. In my third story in security, an alarm is raised over Mozilla VPN's wonky authorization check, letting users cause havoc. Submitted on our Discord by Lalden on the MMN Discord. This is written by Thomas Claiborne of The Register. A security engineer at SaaSSy, Matthias Gerstner, uncovered a vulnerability in the Mozilla VPN client version 2.14.1 for Linux, enabling any user on the system to exploit it. The flaw was brought to light when an OpenSUSE community manager attempted to add the Mozilla VPN client to OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, a Linux distribution. During the standard review process by the SUSE security team, they found that the VPN software contained a privileged dbus service running as root and a polkit policy. Matthias's investigation revealed that the authentication tech mistakenly requested polkit authorization for the privileged Mozilla VPN dbus service instead of the user. The vulnerability was privately disclosed to Mozilla on May 4th with no proper response until August 3rd, when SUSE made a public post. Mozilla aims to address the vulnerability in the upcoming 2.16.0 release, with improved authorization expected in 2.7.0. A fix for Linux is scheduled for release on August 11, 2023. Tony, before I get into this, I want to make sure, did you know that the reason the Firefox animal is a red panda is because the translation for Red Panda actually equates to the word Firefox.
In what language?
Oh, good Lord. Let me Google that.
You can't come at me with facts and not have facts about your facts. Like, that's why Carfax was invented, because I was asking.
So apparently Firefox is the nickname for Red Panda in Nepal, Darjeeling, Sikkim, and Bhutan.
Wow. I did not know that.
There you go.
But let's give a tip of the hat to them for saying, hey, listen, we're going to fix this right away, and we are disclosing it. We're upfront about it. I really like that. They're not being LastPassy. I would like to point out that's copyrighted and patented by Mr. Orsini. So I use that all the time, by the way. So tip of the hat of that. And we have a lot of problems with VPNs in general. Some education for the audience. For everyone using an Apple device, an iPhone specifically, if you're using a VPN on that device, it does not work. It will not work, kind of. The reason for that is because what you're using in the VPN is by definition an application. And by definition of the application, one application cannot disrupt a session of another application, which means even though you initiate that, applications that were already up and running will continue on their own session. You cannot disrupt them, but what you can do is shut them off, turn them back on, and they will jump on the new connection. Hypothetically, it's been mixed results and there's a lot of data leakage in there. But VPNs are a problem. You have to research them, and I really, really like Firefox jumping on board, saying, hey, here's the issue. Apple, not so much. What are your thoughts?
To be fair, Mozilla didn't jump on it right away. OpenSUSE notified them May 4th, didn't hear anything about it until they didn't say anything until OpenSUSE put out an open letter and said, hey, by the way, now it is cool. I do like that even though they're incorporating from another project, another open source project, they did not assume that it would be safe. They went ahead and did a security test anyway. I love that. That's absolutely the way it's supposed to go, right? Don't assume open source or any code is safe. That's the goal of open source. You can go review and say, this is good, this is bad, or whatever. And I absolutely love that they did that. And even if Mozilla didn't respond properly the first time, it's nice that OpenSUSE was able to get it and say, look, you're going to fix this. This is public. It's not an option anymore. For all those people running Mozilla VPN and OpenSUSE on Linux. I mean, I think we just cut down the population by like 98%. But and of course now I'm going to get yelled at on MMN Discord. Put the link below. We'll get yelled at on MMN Discord.
Well, okay, so we have a lot of notables to talk about. I want to also point out that SUSE is not the same as Sisu, the movie, which is also a good movie. And I'm still waiting on hold for my therapist from the probably the passwords and everything has been checked because of the podcast while I'm typing in the background. Everyone's got our passwords just from that. You know what we should probably do, though?
Get some notables?
We should do some notables. Let's do it. And in my first notable mention from bleepingcomputer.com, Google Gmail continuously nagging to enable enhanced safe browsing. Google is persistently promoting its enhanced safe browsing feature to users through recurring alerts in Gmail. This upgraded feature checks in real time against Google's cloud services if a visited site is malicious, unlike Google's standard safe browsing feature that compares a visited site to locally stored lists of domains. While enhanced safe browsing offers better security, it raises privacy concerns as it shares URLs with Google, temporarily associating this information with the user's signed-in Google account. Despite alerts recurring even after users decline, Google asserts that the data linked to safe browsing is anonymized after a short period. And in my next notable mention, clippity clop, and some torrents. From bleepingcomputer.com, the Clop ransomware gang has started using torrents to leak data stolen during MOVEit attacks, enabling faster and more widespread distribution of stolen data. This development follows a wave of data theft attacks from the group exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in the MOVEit transfer secure file platform, impacting nearly 600 organizations globally. The new method resolves the slow data transfer issues experienced on the Tor data leak sites and circumvents the easy takedown of clear websites by authorities. The decentralization of torrents also makes it difficult for law enforcement to shut down this distribution method.
In my first notable mention, discontinuation of Creative Cloud synced files. This is in an email sent from Adobe Creative Cloud on July 28th. In an email sent to customers, Adobe announced upcoming changes to the Creative Cloud storage experience for business customers under Creative Cloud for Teams and Creative Cloud for Enterprise plans. Starting February 1st, 2024, users will no longer be able to share files or folders from Creative Cloud sync files with new users outside the organization. However, sharing within the organization will continue until October 1st, 2024. On the same day, Creative Cloud content synchronization process, as well as synced file and folder sharing, will be discontinued. Cloud-based copies of files for users will be permanently removed, but user files will remain in their local Creative Cloud files folder. In addition, previously shared folders and assets will no longer be accessible both inside and outside the organization. Please advise your users of these changes, as Adobe will not be sending any follow-up emails. In my second notable mention, Microsoft kills Cortana in Windows as it focuses on next-gen AI. Written by Sarah Perez for TechCrunch. Microsoft is shutting down Cortana this month, focusing on modern AI advances like Bing Chat and other AI-powered features in Windows and Edge. Cortana will no longer be a standalone app in Windows starting August 2023. Instead, Microsoft sees Cortana as a stepping stone towards a future where users will rely on a smarter chatbot running GPT-4 thanks to their partnership with OpenAI. Windows users will experience a transitional period where Cortana will still be available in some form, but the standalone Windows app will no longer be supported. In my resource of the week, the MSP Owner's Handbook, SaaSSy Edition, written by Marnie Stockman, Juan Fernandez, Matt Lee, and Wes Spencer. As technology transitions to subscription-based models, MSPs have a significant opportunity in shifting from SaaS to SaaSSy, something as a service plus security. Embrace automation, compliance, and robust security to cater to clients' evolving needs and safeguard their businesses from cyber threats. In the new copy of the MSP Owner's Handbook, SaaSSy Edition, Marnie, Wes, Juan, and Matt offer valuable insights into delivering standout services that will differentiate your MSP and elevate your performance in the ever-evolving tech landscape. We also covered a special report with Marnie Stockman on Friday that was released. We'll include it in the cards here somewhere on the screen.
There are plenty of amazing upcoming events taking place across the community, so let's see what's happening this week. On August 9th through the 10th, an in-person event, Channel Pro SMB Summit in Newark, New Jersey. And also on August 9th at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Build It Better MSP discussion presented by Everything MSP. And on August 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, ScalePad Cognition 360 Roundtable. And coming from the MSP Media Network this week, we have, in case you missed it on Sunday, Episode 5 of MSP Community Live. Coming on Tuesday, August 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, AI Roundup Episode 22. And later that same day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Wins and Losses Episode 4. On Thursday, August 10th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Tech Bar Podcast Episode 62 welcomes John Harden of Havoc. And as always, on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, MSP Dispatch presented by the MSP Media Network.
Hey, I'm Powerhouse Ray.
And I'm Super Cousin Danny.
And we're the hosts of
The Tech Bar.
Pull up a stool with us every other Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for drinks, jokes, and games with your friends in the MSP channel. So how'd you like today's show? If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, go and hit it 3 times. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes or your favorite podcatcher. Go ahead, we'll wait. We're listening to your keyboard to find out. Did you know we also have a Discord where we post stories all week? You can propose your own stories and even vote on which ones we'll cover. As my friend Rich Banky says, make sure to tell a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. Have any questions? Email news@mspmedia.tv for answers on the next episode, or leave us a voicemail, 833 MSP Network. Tony, I'm going to ask you, even though I'm pretty certain of the answer, have we terrified you enough today to make it a proper MSP dispatch?
Oh, I'm sorry. My therapist. Hey, yes, I'm on right now. Oh, you have my password because you were listening to the previous podcast. Yes, yeah. I need a new therapist. Yes, everybody that listens to these podcasts, it gets their brains thinking. They laugh a little bit. They say, "Oh my gosh, you guys are really funny." Oh my goodness, I need to do firmware updates. I need to do policy checks. I need to figure out the processes and how we're going to scale out the education to our customer base. Oh my gosh, back to this security issue and the firmware updates.
It'll be fine.
I'm proud to be a part of this, though, because sharing this information is incredibly important. Letting everyone out there see that I'm the lightning rod for the neurotic behavior that we all have in us internally. It's part of the job. I
appreciate your efforts in this job. Instead of saying my usual, take care of yourselves and each other, I'll just do it in a way you guys can all hear.
Bye, everyone. Be safe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.
Furthermore, attackers exploited apps.facebook.com on Facebook's end to create a security engineer at SaaSSy, Matthias Gerstner, uncovered a vulnerability in the Mozilla VPN client.
While enhanced safe browsing offers better security, it raises privacy concerns as it shares URLs with Google. Words are difficult today. Hold on. And in my next notable mention, clippity clop, one more time, coming from the top.